Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing my favorite FP Journe in my favorite configuration. This, in Platinum 950, is the FP Journe Chronometre Optimum Black Label, a boutique and espace limited series. This is part of a family of Journe watches for which you must first prove ownership of a Journe watch, generally bought new, and then purchase exclusively at a Journe boutique or espace inside an authorized dealer. And there are limits on how many of these can be made per model per year, including limits on how many of each model can be ordered per individual point of sale. So this is an extraordinary timepiece. This is the most accurate mechanical watch that FP Journe knows how to make. Launched in 2012, it combines a number of overlapping mechanical refinements that grant it extraordinary mechanical precision. Let's talk about the fit though. As you can see, Platinum, it's a heavy watch, but it's not a huge watch. 40mm case size and reasonably slim, despite the fact that FP Journe has said this particular caliber is too thick for his tastes. The watch itself is only 9.9mm thick with a generously domed case flank, so it does slide easily under a dress cuff. 40mm in diameter and a very manageable 48.3mm lug to lug. You can wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14cm circumference. The spacing between the lugs is 20mm, but the strap that's fitted from the factory is probably the one you're going to want to use. The lugs are drilled close, so a curved spring bar is used to prevent the strap from getting pinned against the side. You can pull the strap straight down around the tight curve of a small wrist, and you will note with the curved spring bars, it has a very integrated look, little daylight between case and strap ends. Also, the pull tab spring bars allowing tool-free removal of the strap. Most Journe straps are alligator on top and alligator on the bottom. This one's an interesting combination of alligator on the top with a calfskin underlay, so a different look and a little bit of a different feel. It does make the strap a bit more supple. The buckle, of course, is platinum to match a platinum case. Every brand should do this. I don't know why. All of them don't. And it features a raised bridge over the center section, so you can actually plant the strap between the stanchions so it sits flat on the wrist rather than stacking up. Thoughtful attention to detail, but this watch runneth over in that regard. And let me try to get the best aspect with respect to my camera and get the focus dialed in. The case band is simple. You can see the double dimple knurled FP Journe crown. The case band is curved, it's all of high polish, and the horizontal is principally defined by the overlap of the bezel and the case back beyond the mid case. The dial is sensational. First of all, black label. Yes, I told you what it means in a practical sense and a economic sense as well as an exclusivity sense, but there's the simple fact that if you want a platinum Journe with a black dial, you need to buy inside the black label collection. The bezel for the hours, minutes, and seconds is white gold and polished and fixed by bolts. You'll note there are bolts on the black portion of the dial as well as the bezel for the inner displays of time. This is a Journe stylistic feature that's been present in his eponymous brand wristwatches since the first in 1999. There's a power reserve scale that actually spans 70 hours, but 40 is demarcated for a very important reason. This watch can maintain equal amplitude from the first 45 hours of power reserve. And that's a remarkable thing because for 45 hours of the 70-hour autonomy, the watch can maintain the same amplitude by metering constant force to the escapement. We'll discuss how that happens. So you're going to want to wind the watch on a daily basis at the same time, ideally, to get the most out of the Chronometre Optimum. But in a pinch, it can run for almost 3 days. You can see that there is a display connected to the remontoir d'égalité that is actually scrolling. The dial side seconds display always scrolls in traditional sweep fashion. This display normally jumps in quantized 1-second bursts of energy, but what happens when the watch runs down past a certain point and the watch is not fully wound, it reverts to a sweep second rather than the deadbeat second that's linked to the remontoir d'égalité. So once you wind the watch past a point, you will note what is right now a sweep seconds function designed to keep the watch running will return to a deadbeat second as the remontoir constant force device jumps back into action, and now the watch is operating as intended. 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate. There are a number of features that contribute to the precision of the watch. Let's discuss each of them in turn. First, twin mainspring barrels in parallel to ensure a very even torque release to the escapement. Second, the remontoir d'égalité. It is a titanium spring that allows 1-second bursts of power to jump from the barrels through to the train that drives the escapement. So even when the barrels are fully wound, the power reaching or the force reaching the escapement is not going to be overwhelming. And when the barrels are almost exhausted, you're still going to have, as long as the watch is inside its 45-hour power reserve span, even if you are down to only 25 hours of power reserve remaining, as long as you don't cross that 45-hour threshold, you're going to find that the watch still meters the same amount of force to the escape. Now, there are other features. You've got the remontoir constant force device. It takes the place of a fusee, for example, on a long. It's constant force. You've got the twin barrels in parallel. You've got 6-position adjustment. A chronometer, a COSC chronometer, is generally adjusted in 5 positions. This watch is adjusted in 6. No place for timing variation to hide. And finally, there is a direct impulse, double direct impulse escapement with twin titanium wheels that operate unlubricated, directly impulsing the balance, each one in only one direction. It's inspired by Breguet's research into natural escapements, and it's a fundamental departure from the Swiss lever. The double direct impulse escapement, which is self-starting on the Journe, a rare incidence of a self-starting direct impulse escapement system. It is both more efficient and more precise. Finally, the balance itself is fairly large with a high moment of inertia, so it can shake off bumps and disruptions on the wrist, and it uses an overcoil hairspring, which is not universal on Journe watches. They usually employ a flat hairspring. It is a free-sprung balance, so once regulated, it will take and hold that precise regulation, even in the face of vibrations, concussions, and shocks on the wrist. The bridges and the plates all made of solid gold. You will note 18-karat rose gold bridges, 18-karat rose gold plates. The screws are all black polished with chamfered slots, and the edge of every bridge features a mirrored anglage. You can really see those edges lighting up. Their mirrored hand-finished bevels or chamfers are most apparent when you turn the watch away from the flush position. So flush to the camera, you can't see them, but when you turn away, you start to see those glowing edges. I'll also mention that there is an even perlage across the base plate, an engine-turned finish, and the watch does have 2 heartbeats. When you hold it up against your ear, you will hear the remontoir 1 Hertz escapement, or 1 Hertz beat rate, and you will hear the 6 beat per second or 3 Hertz beat rate of the balance and the escapement itself. The timepiece, a little bit cerebral, but the most accurate Journe you can purchase that is not one of the Quartz Elegant timepieces. This is FP Journe's most accurate mechanical watch in its rarest and most exclusive form. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox.